position here, right, with a confirmation or anything, with SL below S4. And if this is happening in an uptrend, we go for it, right? And in a downtrend, we look to sell in the resistance zone, right? R3, R4, okay? With SL above R4, okay? And I also told you about the first pullback strategy, right? So this thing happening after a new trend is, has higher accuracy, okay? We discussed that as well. And yeah, that's it, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, so we see one thing that I told you previously as well when we were discussing support resistance is that from support resistance, either you can trade a reversal, right? This is your support, and this is your resistance. So from here, you can either trade this reversal, right? Or you can trade a breakdown. Okay, two things can happen. Either it will reverse from the support or it will break it down and go down. Okay, same thing for resistance as well. Either it will reverse from there or it will break out and go up. Perfect. So these are the two options that you have. So till now we have discussed how to trade the reversal. Today we'll discuss how to trade the breakout. Okay. So today we'll discuss the breakout strategies. The first breakout strategy is weekly time frame. So sorry, not weekly time frame, weekly pivots. Okay. So weekly pivots breakout. So basically the time frame that we'll be using for this is 1 hour. Okay. So first one is your R4 breakout. Okay. So for R4 breakout, the basic conditions are very simple. First of all, current trend. When I say current trend, I mean current weekly trend. Current weekly trend should be bearish. So current weekly trend bearish means recently L5 would have been achieved. Okay. Instead of, no, sorry, not L5, you can say S5, whatever, it's one and the same, right? So out of R5 and S5, recently S5 would have been achieved. So that means current weekly trend is bearish. And you identify this trend in 1 hour time frame. Okay. So current weekly trend is bearish. Then there is a R4 breakout. Now see, when I say R4 breakout, what that means is this is your R4. Okay, in the previous week, S5 was achieved. Okay, price went till S5. That means trend is bearish. Now in the next week, the stock has come till R4. And when I say R4 breakout, I do not mean something like this. Okay. So see, what I'm trying to say is if you get a breakout like this, I'll suggest to wait for a little more. Okay, wait for another candle. If another candle is say something like this, okay, a doji, then wait for another candle. Let it, the third candle, let it break the high of the doji. If it breaks, then go for it, because then it becomes breakout, retest, and then it continues the trend. Okay. So all I'm saying is that just a small close like this won't reverse the trend. If after this the stock falls, trend is still bearish. So when you're trading a breakout, make sure the candle, is you get a good confirmation, a good breakout basically. Okay, not a small candle breakout. A small candle breakout won't give you a very good confirmation. So you need a good candle basically. Okay, so all I'm trying to say here is use your experience. Okay, use your mind, use your common sense. Just make sure it is a good breakout. Okay. So current weekly trend is bearish, R4 breakout. SL below R3. Target R5. Okay. So I'm assuming you have noted this down. Okay. Now I'll give you one situation. See, let's say what happens is that this is your R4. Okay. And this is your R3. So let's say R3 is at 1100, R4 is at 1150, okay, and R5 is at 1200, for example. Okay. So previous trend was bearish. In previous week, S5 was achieved. This week, what happens? The stock comes, breaks R4, okay. So you think it is a good breakout, you go long here, okay. So let's say you go long at 1160, all right. Your stop loss comes below R3, so you can keep it somewhere around, let's say 1090 something, okay. This is your SL, and your target comes at 1200, okay. Now let's say what happens is that this is weekly pivots, right? So they will expire on Friday. From Monday we'll get new weekly pivots, okay. So this is going to expire on Friday. So let's say by Friday, neither your SL nor your target gets achieved, okay. By Friday, neither your SL nor your target gets achieved. So you have taken a trade, and let's say stock goes up a little and is still here. So let's say by the end of the week, it closed at 1170. It has not triggered your stop loss, nor it has triggered your target. So what will happen is, now the next week comes, Monday comes, what will happen? The levels will change, correct? So what will happen? You will have new R4, you will have new R5, and you will have new R3, okay? So if you are in this trade, you have taken this trade according to this week, right? So this does not mean that your SL will change from 1090 to 1120, for example. This is not going to happen. Your SL and your target is gonna remain the same, okay? Even though the next week levels have come, they have changed, does not mean now your target is this R5 and your SL is below this R3. No, okay? Even though you have new levels, your target and your SL will remain the same, even if you are carrying the trade for the next week. Okay? And this will happen a lot of time. This will happen very often. What will happen is that the stock will give you a breakout, and then it will close here by the end of the week. Now it has not triggered your SL, nor it has triggered your target. So you will be in confusion that what do I do? Hold it, okay, until your SL or target is not triggered, hold it, okay. Now in the next week, you'll have the new levels. Don't change your target and SL according to them. Your target and SL will remain the same, even though the levels have changed the next week. So in the second week, if your one of the things get triggered, your target or your SL, good. If it does not get triggered, let's say by next Friday, okay, still the target or SL does not get triggered, exit the trade. Wherever, whatever the level is, exit the trade. And this thing will happen, I'll say 1 out of 10 times. Very less chance that 2 weeks have passed and neither your target nor your SL has been met. This won't happen, or will happen once in a blue moon, 1 out of 10 times, okay. So mostly by this week or next week, your target or your SL will be triggered, okay. I'll show you a couple of examples. Let me just complete the second part as well. Second part of this strategy would be S4 breakdown. Okay. So what is S4 breakdown? First condition for it, current trend should be bullish. Okay.
Vice versa.
Second thing, you get a S4 breakdown.
Confirmation.
Third thing, your SL comes above S3 and your target is at S5. Okay. It's a simplest or basic strategy. Okay, just S4 R4 breakout. The only condition, the only thing that you have to do from your end is that you have to check the current trend. That's it. Let's come to some examples now. I'll start with the very recent example, the very recent trade that I had with me as well. Okay, look at this. See, it's simple, it's basic. This is your first example. See, here you can see that your trend in this week, okay, in this week your trend was what? It was bullish, right? Why? Because you can see H5 was triggered or H5 was achieved very recently, right? So your trend in Nifty was bullish, okay? Now in this week what happened? You got a S4 breakdown, correct? So this triggers or this starts our trade, right? This triggers our entry. So you take entry anywhere you get confirmation here, okay? Whichever candle gives you confirmation, whichever candle gives you the clarity, go for the short trade. You take a short trade here, okay? So you go short somewhere.